Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here and now. Before we do get started, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, Deku, he learned that his sister Mia was in trouble along with 7 other Vault Dwellers out in Vegas. A 4-man squad went missing, and after a couple days, no one responded back to them. After 3, a team was sent out and they began to investigate. They did get swept up in Vegas with a little bit of action. However, they were seen at the Tops, they were seen at the Gamora, and they went to the Ultralux. Now, Deku, when they got to Vegas, investigated Gamora first. He met with Big Sal and discovered that no one was here. Johnny actually got kicked out of the casino whenever he learned or got kicked out of the bar. Now, he then went to the Tops and even met Courier 6 again, finding out that the man was in charge of this place. He mentioned giving all of them a few hundred caps to have some fun with, since he did recognize Mia and their team, learning that they were Vault Dwellers. Yeah. This place was quite a lot of fun for them. And there was the fact Deku, he knew they went to the Ultralux next. The Ultralux has a number of rumors surrounding it. The 3 families used to formerly be tribes of Vegas. He's heard about that story. He heard that the White Glove Society, their ancestors used to be cannibals. And there was no concrete evidence to this being something that they do practice today. Until Evelyn read a woman's mind, and she was not happy about what was happening. Deku, after confirming this woman had their people, killed her. He then let the mutants loose on the casino. And Asashi, he himself was quite alarmed at the swift ease Deku took in brutally murdering someone right in front of him. Right in front of everybody on the strip. He then butchered and killed people. A number of people died in the initial attack. The rest were used as an example in front of the Ultralux and for the strip to witness. Only 3 people survived. Mia was one of them. Johnny, the mutant, he was brutally murdered, and they found parts of his butchered body. They found a number of parts which they can't really identify unless they do run DNA. And that, yeah, considering what these tools were used for, they might not get a positive match back. I mean, it might all be contaminated with other people. All they know is they found parts in bodies, and the rest of it was in the stomachs of the White Glove Society. People saw what Deku did. Hisashi himself was warned by Deku not to come back to the Ultralux because the example that they're going to be giving them is going to be something quite brutal. And that, it does certainly mean something. And right now we do currently cut to Deku. He does go to sit here. Yesterday, he did something brutal. He brought his people back home and made sure they were alive. The mutants are talking about what to do for Johnny. And this is rather odd. Johnny, he has family. He wasn't frozen. He wasn't someone from 80 years ago, 100 years ago, 20 years ago. He was from today. I mean, hell, Him and Evelyn were on the same fucking squad that went out there. And the mutants are mourning him. His family is mourning him. I mean, he didn't exactly know Johnny. He can't really feel that loss. They tried to give condolences to the families. They found tags. They've all been returned, and people, they've heard about what he's done. It's become quite a controversial thing. Hasashi, he was berated about what he did. He completely went around the chain of command and was trying to head out there. Everybody, they heard about it. The man, he's the head of fucking security. And when he heard about this, he tried to single-handedly go out there. It was only the fact that the Surface Protocol commander, he intervened and brought him along on the mission. Hasashi cited that it was to gain an insight into the surface, understand how protocols work on the surface world. But the overseers know exactly what it was. They are not too sure how to really treat him. Hasashi came back with a strange look in his eye, something that they've never seen on his face before. The man's been put through countless simulations and combat. He's seen the Battle of Anchorage well over 100 times. Custom-built combat scenarios they've made. Artificial training. But this wasn't artificial. This was real life brutality. The fact that he saw his son effortlessly take a woman's life and for no rhyme or reason. He looked bored. Not angry. Bored. That was what he told the overseers. There also was the fact that the team, they were debriefed, and Deku, he stood by his decision for what he did to the Ultralux, to the White Glove Society. Chloe backed him up on this. And the council, they are not happy. Mr. House has already contacted them about the brutality on display in Vegas. Yes, the Securitrons can clean it up and they are happy to have this matter dealt with, but the other two families have raised their own concerns. Fact was, Deku, he was brutal in nature. The Tops Casino, Courier 6 reached out with a trade offer, and wanting to actually set up that meeting again. Meanwhile, Big Sal, he wanted to extend his apologies, and if they ever need anything, not to hesitate to contact him. Since now he's kind of shitting his pants. In less than an hour, the White Gloves were wiped out. Everyone in their casino was either murdered or left on the front lawn as fertilizer. So there's that. And Deku, he is well aware. People in the society are either going to see him as a monster or going to see him as justified. They already know some of the stuff he's done. Those stories have gotten out. And honestly, he can't find enough time to care. His sister's back home, and that's all that matters. She's being treated for her trauma. So are the other two. And that's the only thing that matters. Right now, though, he does gotta lay back. His legs dangling off the top of the hangar in the airport. And he does stare up at the partly cloudy sky of the Mojave wasteland. Right now, him just gonna sit there and trying to think about it. He's uncertain of it all. If they try and kick him off as the commander, they're gonna cripple themselves. Everyone up here knows about him. Chloe has stuck to the shadows. She's influential with the cons. That's it. Marcy, she's got a reputation that goes against the NCR. She's hurt their interest in territory. Here he is tactically thinking again. Why the fuck does the whiskey not help? That thought going through Deku's mind with a slight bit of annoyance. He doesn't know what to do. Taking out them should have made him feel better, made him feel more confident about what they can do against the Brotherhood. Against the Legion, against the NCR, he feels like he's trapped in a goddamn cage again. No matter what they do, things will be bad. The Brotherhood has to be dealt with. They're taking too long on their negotiations, on waiting for them. It's been well over a week. The pulse guns should be ready. But if they can do things properly, they may not even need to fire a shot. He needs to talk to Chloe about heading inside to the Brotherhood bunker. Seeing about blowing it up. It's that simple. Get rid of them and then deal with the two big players. Then meet with Courier 6. Or should he see what 6 exactly does want first? The man managed to destroy half the NCR because someone held a fucking grudge against him. I mean, he thought he's seen some shit, but hearing about that's in the top 5, and that does say something. You alright? Him going to somewhat sit up and go to stare at Evelyn, who does go to float there in the sky as he does go to blink. I feel like I should be more surprised. It's a new trick. Her floating forwards and landing on the hangar. I can't maintain it for very long. I may not be as dense as all of you, but it does still take a mental strain. My powers are getting stronger. I can see that. I thought you said... Never mind. It's mental strength, right? Something like that. Doctors are still trying to figure out a way to explain it. You did good yesterday. So why are you here? Overseers couldn't find you. And I told them I knew where you were. I'm getting a better sense of familiar minds. Good. So why are you here to talk to me? I can't really hide a thought from you, so... Well, not without certain other thoughts. So why are you here? Well, I don't know where to begin. First of all, I guess I'm just worried about the Mojave. Yeah. It's like that sometimes. Gotta say, though, I didn't think those rumors were true. But people going missing in Vegas, the wasteland, makes me wonder how many times they were eating people. About that. You saw John's memories? No, not John's. Yours and Chloe's. Whenever I linked all of you to John, You guys all opened a door for me to see. I took a peek, but only as much as I needed to. I still saw some things I don't think you wanted me to see. Like the cowboy hat and the tassels I liked. They were interesting. I'm being serious. I know you are. And I know no matter what I say, you'll just try and use my own inner thoughts and my monologue to try and convince me of what you want me to say, what you want me to hear. That doesn't really work too well on me. I know how to read people, and you know exactly how to read my mind. I literally could not hide a fucking thought if I wanted to. So don't beat around the bush. You've seen things. I don't think the overseers will relieve you of command. But if they do try, I think a significant number of people would back you. I mean, even your father's thoughts. You read my dad's mind. It's involuntary sometimes. What I found is your father is terrified of me, of the wasteland. He said that you used to be kind. You used to be different. Seeing some of his memories when he thinks of you, they're they're so different from what you are now. That's survival. It's the price you have to pay. I understand, Izuku. But that's the problem. Her sort of pacing around as she does talk about it. Some people don't want the vault open. Some do. So what are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to deal with all of this? They have two different armies bearing down on them. And the third one is trying to figure out exactly how long they should wait for barging through their front door. It's not exactly the best options they do have. Can you read through a metal helmet? No, I've tried. Negotiating with them, I would be useless. Unless we're meeting face to face. Otherwise, it is a militaristic force that we're meeting. Gun to gun. That sounds bad. Listen, right now I really don't want to talk about all this. I just want some time. Chloe's looking for you too. Marcy is? Is everything okay with her? As far as I understand, Marcy is fine. The doctor from Jacobstown, he provided some insights on FEV. I asked him some pointed questions, and he was a bit bemused and bewildered to figure out about the haploid cells. And about a few other stuff about our mutations. From my understanding, we should have turned into some different creatures. But the Enclave had enough state of mind to try and preserve us as much as possible. We learned that from the early data we found. A point? The point is, she told me about your plan. It's not a plan, it's an idea. If we want to win, we have to use every available resource. That's survival. That was the Sierra Madre. Improvising, planning, scavenging, scrounging, living. I want to offer it to Mia, but she'd be too desperate to cling to strength. I've seen what happens. Everybody can remain themselves, but not for much longer. They eventually feel a bit of a change. The power does that to you. I've found a split, but sometimes I do have to make a little bit of sacrifices. Keep the door locked. No, not locked. Closed. I don't know how to explain it anymore. I could try. I used to think that it ended and I started somewhere, but it's not that case anymore. Now it's something that I don't, I can't go back into society of our vault anymore. I just can't. These people don't get it, and every time I make a decision to try and keep us alive, keep us safe, they want to fucking second guess me. If they went on one of the expedition teams, they would start to understand, but they don't. You don't understand at all. Not until your life's in danger. Not until you have to make one of those fucked up calls. Then it's just Tuesday. Maybe you're right. But I suggest meeting with them. I heard Aiden and Vince talking about it. They're holding a small service. Mutants only for Johnny. They they want you there. They wanted all of us there. Though if you're gonna wake up more people, be more careful. Deku nodding his head, and she does it to float down as Deku he does it to get off of the hangar, heading down and going to meet up with the mutants. However, he does it to arrive, he does find everybody, and I do mean everybody. A lot of them are here. Even Marcy showed up. Mia was even invited, along with the other two. She might have been the only one to show up, but she did still have eyes red from tears. And she did try to stick close to Deku throughout the entire ceremony. All of them lined up a shot, and there was one even poured for Johnny, a tequila shot. It was lit, and they knocked theirs back, and they all talked. Some played a game of pool, some tried to arm wrestle, some were even curious about what happened there. But when that shot finally went to die, all that alcohol burned out, the evening ended. There was a moment of silence. Johnny was here, and Johnny was gone. It was his last drink. He burned. He bled. He loved. And he savored that last drink as much as he could. He let it burn and scorch his throat as much as that fire, and now it's beyond them. And the night ended. Deku, he thought it was a nice little thing. And the next morning, he did report in to the overseers. Him standing before them and ready to receive their scrutiny. All 5 of them sat there. 2 of them were quite uncomfortable about the matter of discussion that was going to be taking place. And that was Conrad and McKenny. These 2, they rather do abhor violence. But from the testimonies of the team, it's quite easy to understand. John, he even gave quite a clear testimony. People who were fleeing, people who were working the casino, they weren't allowed to leave. They were rounded up and executed. And that's what they're trying to question him about. And Deku does stand firm on his stance. If they let even a single member of the White Glove Society go, who knows if they're letting go of a cannibal? Who knows if they're letting go of someone who partook in human flesh? Who knows if they'd be out for revenge? He pulled up the problem by its root and saved their allies, saved their people. They took 5 of theirs, so he took all of theirs. The display in Vegas was well needed. People know about their alliance, but whenever word spreads that they attacked people from Vault 16 and an entire casino was wiped off the face of the planet for it, it's going to be quite the message to spread around. Especially considering the White Glove Society's reputation does do quite a lot of that for them. Mr. House, he also said, but before they left, that he'd make quite a display out of the parts they were trying to prepare. Some of the things that they were trying to cook up. Right now, it's quite simple. The man has made a statement to all casinos and all the residents of Vegas. The White Glove Society, it was partaking in human flesh, and he ordered their destruction. That is what happened. We're well aware of this, Mr. Midoriya. It's your actions that are quite concerning. My actions, Overseer Matthews, were quite precise. What exactly are you questioning? Your mental state. My mental state. I'm quite fine. That is where I believe you are wrong. Several reports, I don't care what your reports say. I talk to my doctor. I go to therapy. I just do what you order me to do. I take action whenever I deem it to be right for the surface. I'm in charge of this parameter, correct? As far as I'm aware, I am fulfilling the initiative you've given me. Our people were attacked and we wiped them out. That situation is done and over with, sir. And it is going to be the same exact thing for the Brotherhood of Steel. My question, however, to all overseers is how long we'll wait before they attack us, before we destroy them. We wiped out the Enclave. We wiped out the White Glove Society. Next will be the Brotherhood of Steel. You just want to bash me for this one. You don't know what it's like up there. How about you try asking those people who are locked in a freezer? They were cowering in there for days. My sister heard people being chopped up, murdered. I looked inside that freezer. There are human remains. Some we can't identify. Overseer Matthews, all due respect, sir, you don't know a fucking thing about the surface. I see. Well, I was in significant agreement with what you were saying. However, we're worried that you may be a danger to others or to our people, to anyone who interferes with your family. Everyone down here is my family. Right now, I don't see how that is an issue. That's correct. Overseer Barnett going to express. Mr. Midoriya took significant action for them. And if he had waited any sooner, there is a good chance those 3 would have been killed. And they would not have been able to recover them. His actions are not inexcusable, no. However, with the light that has been shed on it, their reputation does still remain intact. They are the new players in town, and this strike against Vegas, against an enemy, does show that while they are willing to be peaceful with negotiating with the followers, they are smart with making deals with the gun runners and the Van Graffs. They are trying to make their allies. They are swift and brutal to their enemy. That should be clear enough to show their allegiance, to show the factions their power. In a single afternoon, one of the most powerful societies in Vegas are gone. Now, he does wish to bring it up to a vote, just so they can move past this topic. All in favor of reprimanding and punishing Mr. Midoriya for his actions, along with the actions his father took in trying to force his way onto a team. Deku staring around, and right now none of the overseers do put up their hand. However, McKenny, he does go to somewhat crinkle his nose and go to raise his hand. This being followed by Conrad, who does go to express. He will be vocal in his opinion. Taking life like this, in such a brutal fashion, it makes them no better than the Legion. That is all he has to say on the matter. They're trying to build a better world, not kill everything in front of them. He understands the circumstances. He just doesn't believe that it was, well, him falling silent. In the vote, it is 3-2. Deku, he does go to snap a salute and go to turn, but he does it a freeze as he does remember that thing he talked about. And he does a turn back around as he has a step forwards and go to stand there. Council members, I do have two things to bring to the table. And that would be, I understand that we are still researching the FEV serum that we recovered from the Enclave. We still have significant portions of information and gaps in our knowledge. However, our scientists have been filling them in with information the Enclave have left behind. I didn't wish to bring this to the table at all. Due to the circumstances, however, I believe it is only right. I wish to awaken 4 more Vault Dwellers. Possibly 6, if I can. With your approval. With the new measures we do have put in place, I believe that they should be fine. More cooperative to understand us. But the first proposal is I wish to do some tests. Run the same test the Enclave ran on us when we left. See about genetic markers that can be used to trigger a mutation when exposed to the FEV. Are you suggesting that people willingly mutate themselves into these mutants? I'm saying they're given a choice. Right now, we may not have one, but that could be long in the future. I am recommending that anyone who wishes to be part of the Surface Expedition team do go through trials and observation in their mutations, except they are willingly exposing themselves to this, and they do understand the ramifications of what may happen. That is this proposition. It can be taken into consideration. We do understand the applications of the FEV. However, we have destroyed a significant portion of that research. The AI has cataloged and blacklisted the rest. Do not lie to the boy. Deku turning his head and staring directly at Matthews. And this time he does get to speak quite more expressively. They only say they destroyed the information. Matthews. He needs to know. If he is going to understand what we're going to be doing, and if this proposition can be undertaken, it is only right he knows. We destroyed much of the Enclave's digital files on their original storage drives. However, we made a copy of it and uploaded it up to our AI. And that is where it has been. Untouched and left to settle. Blacklisted in the records. Hidden. We heard about your escapades. How three people and a robot army fought the Enclave. Our initial estimates weren't too sure. We thought about using the data as to a way of understanding how to potentially subdue mutants. That is what it was going to be used for. Understanding what was done to you and abuse the flaw in your biology. Deku was surprised, nodding his head. However, you were far more cooperative, human, than we previously believed. Some of us thought you went mad. Some of us thought you were. Every time we receive an update, the situation out there changes. This can be brought under consideration and deliberation from the Council. We can see the military applications of it, which I think Barnett and Stanford are going to be quite for. However, I'm quite worried about the health of everybody. I am neutral in this matter. Neutral? You've all had this debate before. Yes. It was a topic of discussion to play and toy around with. Theoretical. Until today. I see. That was all. Deku snapping a salute and turning. Him a bit bewildered by the fact that he just stumbled upon one of the vault's secrets? And that does intrigue him. 2 secrets. They've thought about using the FEV for their own research, for their own weaponization. I mean, how long have they been thinking of that? He came to the same conclusion, but he's happy to know they at least came to the... No. He's happy to know they came to the exact same conclusion. Giving people a choice, but being wary about what it does to them. There's no way of telling this. And he does it to head back home. Right now, Deku, he does go to make his way up to his residence door. However, he does go to open it. He does go to step in and go to turn. Looking around as he does go to see Mia sitting there with Chloe. And Chloe, she does get a turn looking over at Deku. As Deku does get a turn and see that Marcy, she does come walking over. Her setting down some coffee in front of Mia, handing one off to Chloe. And she has a turn making her way over to Deku. Him going to step over and pull her into an embrace. Hi. Howdy. How did things go? They're not going to punish Dad. Though, 2 of the overseers were against what I suggested. Though, I did ask them about waking up 2 other... No, I did ask them about awakening 6 more dwellers. 6 this time? That's a big number. Are you sure we can accommodate them? I believe so. One of them is a Scorch Beast trial. Are you sure that that's a good idea? I kind of am. But I also brought that one proposal to the overseers. As it turns out, they've been considering weaponizing the FEV, letting residents take a choice about mutating. Are you serious? Yeah, it was all theoretical until I suggested it. And all of them, it was officially brought up to them. Not in polite conversation. What did they say about it? Nothing. Though, their understanding about my position. We have a new residence in Vegas. I'm fairly certain that we'll take up residence inside the Ultralux. What? No, I am not going back there. Mia, I never said you had to go back there. Deku walking over and sitting down. And whenever he does get to put a hand on her shoulder, he does go to watch her somewhat flinch. It does come back to Mia. The way she saw her brother. The way she saw him. Some of it is cloudy, but he had this look in his eyes. It was different from Quarry Junction. It was there was this thing in his eyes. His fucking eyes. They bore a hole into her. And there was Dad. She's never seen him that jumpy. She's never seen him scared. I mean, hell. All of her life, he's been unshakable. But it's like someone finally collapsed the mine and shook the mountain. She sucks at metaphors. This going on in her mind. And she does a turn looking back at Deku, remembering the image of him in her mind. Drenched in blood. She doesn't know how many people's, but he was there to save her. And she does a turn and pull Deku into a hug. Deku allowing her as she does it hold on to him and try to stop herself from sobbing. And he does go to pat her onto the back, talking about it. He's fairly certain that people might think they got... Never mind. What? What were you going to say? Have you had your fill of the wasteland? I'm done. I don't want to go back out there. Please don't make me go back out there. It's not my choice to make, Chloe. Listen, you still have another 2 months if you want it. Right now, you need to understand. What you saw out there was bad. It was one of the worst days. But there's a lot up there that the world has to offer. Right now, we might be pulled into a war with the Brotherhood. If that happens, then I'm not sure what we'll be doing. It's another issue I need to bring to the Overseers. If the Brotherhood tries something, we'll automatically be able to label them as hostile threats. But we're not sure. President Kimball is supposed to be coming here. I think in a few days. That or tomorrow. I've been hearing talk about it. The Overseers forget about my hearing sometimes. You've been spying on them? Not spying. But we think something's happening. We might be able to use this time for something. The NCR has been making movements and They sent out a representative whenever we were out there for you. They did? They did. They know we met with Caesar, and now they're a bit agitated. We're assuming they're going to try and meet with us, and we're expecting the Brotherhood to try an assassination attempt on President Kimball. Make us look bad. Why? Because they can. Right now, there is a cliff not too far away. Directly, what is it? Northeast. That hill is too good of a spot to perch on. Give someone a sniper rifle, and they can practically pick us off if we didn't wear tin cans on our head. Listen, right now, I'll tell you this. We could use your help. No, I'm not going back out there. Chloe. What your brother is trying to say is, if something happens, we need you as a field medic. You might be able to go up to the surface with everybody else on workout rotation, or simply just to get fresh air. You still have that clearance. Though, we think Camp Searchlight might be best for you. If you do need to, you can use the remaining time and talk to a doctor. Marcy, I think that would be best. I'm a physician, not a therapist. Mia, you've been through two intense situations in the wasteland. Do you want me to put it lightly or bluntly? What's the difference? You're lucky, and you managed to be in the right place at the right time. You weren't ripped to shreds by a giant fucking deathclaw, and you weren't slathered with barbecue sauce by cannibals and put on a grill. You were just lucky enough to not be chosen, and we got there in time to save you. Or, look at it this way. These are two of the worst events in your life you've ever been through. For us, we've been through quite a number of things. Worse things than you can imagine. But there's only ever going up from there. I don't like killing, Mia. I abhor it. My hands are meant to heal, not kill, not drain life. They're meant to give it. I've helped birth calves. I've helped women give birth to their own children. But I've also taken many sons, daughters, fathers, and mothers. All of them are guilty. I've never killed an innocent person in my mind, except for whenever I didn't have control. Those ones I don't know how to count. For you, there's only days that can get better. I can guarantee you that. If you do try it again, you will have to jump into things. With that mindset, there can never be a worse day than that. And if it does pop up, it will pass. I think you're like your brother. You're a survivor. You just don't know it yet. You didn't give up. From what he told me, the other two did. Near complete catatonic, but you snapped back. That's not easy. I know that much. There was a time where we all saved a bullet for ourselves. What? It's a hard story to tell. There were days where we all just stared at those bullets. Days where we weren't sure if they would work. I still remember the gun. I thought about it. Too small of caliber? Would it work? We're weakened, we're not at full power, we're not at our full strength. I've had those dark thoughts that have led me down a whole line of thinking that could have driven me mad. At one point, I think it did. I don't remember some things there, but I think that's for the best. I forget some things too. Though, from my understanding, it's good that I blocked them out. Yeah, there's a lot there that we don't want to relive. Mia, I know you can do this. You're a soldier. Isn't that what you told me? Her nodding her head. And Deku, he does go to stare at her. Before he does a second of breath and go to let it out. Right now, him turning and walking over to the fridge. Him reaching into the fridge and grabbing a 6-pack of Sunset Sarsaparilla. Him closing it and setting it on the counter. Reaching up and going to grab some whiskey out of the freezer. And he does it to pick these up and walk over, setting them down as he's a turn to look at Marcy. I'm only going to tell this once. Do we have any available holotapes? There's one in the room. Are you going to talk about Mexico? Yeah. I'm going to talk about Mexico. Mia, this is a story you're going to want to pay attention to. We have kept the details of this to ourselves. It's something that we don't like talking about. It's been stricken from the records, and the only other person who knows about some of the things that happened there is my therapist, Miss Sutton. I understand. I've met with her assistants. Good. Right now, pour yourself a double, knock it back, and pour yourself another drink. Grab a sarsaparilla and just relax. This is going to be a hard story to tell, but we're going to tell it. Him going to pour her a drink and then going to pour one for himself. Looking at Chloe, who does going to nod her head as Deku. He does that turn looking at Marcy. Him going to give her a sympathetic gaze that does tell her everything. And she does it a nod talking about it. She's going to be alright. If it does get to be a little much, she can go. Or she can just go right now. She really should be avoiding stress. Go visit your mom. I think we'll be fine here. But we can talk more later, okay? Sure. I'll do that. Her going to stand and go to leave. And Deku, he does go to tell her. He's sorry about that. Right now, Marcy going to wave it off as she does understand. He thinks that letting her know what happened to them will help her. And there is where Deku does go to get the holotape after he knocked back his drink. However he does to sit back down, he does gonna pour himself another one and start talking about it. Right now, gonna bring up his holotape and hit record. This is Commander Izuku Midoriya of the Surface Expedition Team. I am recording this holotape in regards to the recent incident with the Ultralux. I know me and members of my team have been quite evasive about what happened at the Sierra Madre. Due to the light of the situation, With my sister, I believe it pertinent to get this record down. Let people know what is up there. To all the survivors of the incident, you have my sympathies. To anyone who does listen to this later on, understand. These actions were taken in need of survival. These were not decisions that were made lightly. And every decision after these ones led to where we are today. We're free. If you do wish to judge me or say things to my face, say them. If you do wish to call me something, call it to my face. Do understand. We did what was necessary to survive. Deku going to pause and go to take a sip from his drink, expressing, it all started whenever they were getting there. Things were him going to begin the tale of the Sierra Madre. Chloe, she does to add in her 2 cents about things she does get to remember. And Mia does go to listen. And right now, Deku, he does go to continue. Eventually, he does get to a point where the holotape, it is loaded full of information. Him taking a break to grab another one, pulling it free from his pocket and going to record again. They've got quite a few of these things stored up. And right now, he's fairly certain it's a good thing to do. They were given to them in case they ever wanted to put something down on the record, handed off to the overseers. And this is probably what they were meant for, to get down this information when they felt comfortable. But now it needs to be known. It needs to be brought out into the open. And Mia is horrified at some of the things in their story. The monsters, the creatures, the location, and then the whole thing about having to sever their limbs. Even about how they made these noises that don't sound like they should come from a human. The things that they were, the things that they are, and how food was scarce. It was hard to come across. It was hard to come by. And Deku, he does reveal to Mia one of the most horrific things he's ever done. He had to cannibalize those creatures in order to maintain his body's natural healing. In order to maintain his body, just so it didn't eat itself alive. He was disgusted with himself. There were times where they puked. There were times where things were more difficult and harder than they ever were. One of those things, when he shifted, managed to climb onto his back. Another one got him as well. They kept stabbing and stabbing with those cosmic knives. Eventually, he ran into one of those red clouds, and by the time he got out of there, he almost bled to death on his own blood. He almost choked to death on his own blood. His lungs were full, and Marcy, she had to cut a hole in him in order to drain it, in order to get it out. He almost had a collapsed lung. They had to use a stim pack to heal him. And while his own body did heal him as well, he had to eat a lot. Chloe, she had to try and sneak around. Though trying to sneak around in that mist, it isn't easy. And then there's Marcy. Marcy had the hardest trouble. They couldn't get out of there. They didn't know how high the mist went. And she didn't have enough calories to maintain that form for very long. She tried flying up once. He goes over multiple planes they had. Failure after failure after failure after failure after failure after failure. And Mia does just stare on. Deku's face does a scrunch in anger. It does get to show that he doesn't like what happened. And whenever the tape does it a click indicating it's out, Deku, he does keep talking. Before he does it stop and go to look down. Before he does go to load up another tape and continue. And Mia, she sat there nursing her drink and just listening. And by the time Deku does consider it to be done for the day, he does get to finally turn to her. 3 hours. That's how long he's been speaking for. And she does just going to stare on with rapt interest. The idea that her brother went through that and he's somehow here. There's still more to the story. I mean, Jesus. He's here after Father Elijah and after everything that happened with the casino, just trying to break free of those collars and all of it. I mean, they got out, but they were still stuck in the city. She could see it. But she does gotta look up at him. Her brother did a number of things to survive. She can't blame him. But if he never did those things, she wouldn't have gotten in those dangers. But she can't blame him for her doing something stupid. But Vegas, she can blame those people, blame them. And right now, she does go to stand. A bit on wobbling legs and going to express. She just needs some air. You're all right. I can continue. Next time. I think that would be best. Thank you, though. This, it kind of helped. Deku going to hold up his glass and go to nod. Him knocking back the rest of his drink. When he does it to set it down, Mia does go to quickly leave. She seems a bit more relaxed, a bit calmer, but still tense. He hopes it all helped. It should help. That's his main problem. And right now he does a turn looking directly over at Chloe, who does get to talk about it. It's a good thing that he talked about it. She is remembering a few things, but they're not bad. No, they're not. Him reaching his hand out and grabbing hers. And she does go to nod at him and give him a small smile, talking about it. They do have the rest of the afternoon, right? Until Marcy comes back? Maybe. Though, I think maybe just watching some TV would be fine. How about you? It's a little calm. Him giving her a small smile. And he does go to stand and begin to clear off the table. Her picking up the bottles and getting ready to put them in the recycling. Right now, her collecting the caps and going to slide them in her pocket. Her going to freeze for a second before somewhat laughing, making sure to take them out and put them back on the bottles. Since these ones, they won't really work out there. They're not money. And that thought does feel strange to her. They're just bottle caps. These are just bottle caps. before she's a walk over and go to sit down. Right now, her going to moving close to Deku. And they do just gonna turn on the TV and listen to the old cowboy show that does gonna play. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.